Carmarthen Bank. Carmarthen Bank was a bank established and formerly operated in the county of Carmarthenshire, Wales during the 19th century. It became bankrupt in 1832 and its name was then adopted by another Carmarthenshire-based bank. History. This bank was established in Carmarthen by the partnership known as Waters, Jones and Company, and probably developed from one or more earlier banks operated under the name of Waters. During the Panic of 1825, the Bank of England suspended cash payments due to frequent provincial bank failures, leading to a general run on British banks in December 1825. In December 1825, public meetings were held at the Guildhall, Carmarthen, and at Llandilo, where votes of public confidence were passed in Waters, Jones and Company and David Morris and Sons. Both enterprises survived the 1825 crisis, but on 19 January 1832, Waters, Jones and Company suspended all payments. The partners in Carmarthen Bank at this time were John Waters, Arthur Jones and David Jones, all of Carmarthen. Attempts were made to avoid bankruptcy, and on 7 February 1832, an agreement was drawn up which recited that the accounts had been inspected on 21 January 1832, and that assets were sufficient to meet liabilities. Under this agreement, Waters, Jones and Company would meet all the assets of Carmarthen Bank under the supervision of inspectors, who were to receive the proceeds of realization of the assets on trust for the bank's creditors. This agreement contained a proviso that if the partners of Sir James Esdale and Company, bankers of Lombard Street, London, and certain other creditors holding 9/10ths of the value of the bank's debts, did not execute the agreement before 1 May 1832, the agreement would be void and a commission of bankruptcy would be issued against Waters, Jones and Company, although the partners in the bank and some of the creditors signed the agreement. The partners of Sir James Esdale and Company. A fiat of bankruptcy was issued, and the notes exhibited at the Ivy Bush Hotel, Carmarthen, on 11 September 1832, when a first dividend of 5 shillings in the pound was paid. According to one authority, the liabilities of Waters, Jones and Company amounted to Ps 300,000, and the failure of the bank was the result of issuing notes to the extent of nearly Ps 100,000 upon unmarketable securities, and making advances in opposition to every principle of common sense and common safety. Money was freely lent, without security, to drovers to enable them to purchase cattle, and the wants of a large agricultural district were soothed in a similarly paternal manner. It may be that such harsh criticism was due to the writer being a heavy depositor in the bank. Successor in name. It was probably after the failure of Carmarthen Bank that David Morris adopted the name and changed the name of his bank from David Morris and Sons to Carmarthen Bank. David Morris and Sons had been formed from the amalgamation of Morris and Sons, which he had established in Carmarthen in 1791, and Carmarthen Furnace Bank, which had been established by John Morgan of Furnace House, Carmarthen. Banknotes. The earliest known banknote for this bank is 4 Ps2 and is dated 10 October 1825. Existing specimens of banknotes issued by the bank are 4 Ps1, Ps2, Ps5, Ps8, and Ps50. So far as is known, it is the only bank in England and Wales that issued a banknote for Ps8. Other Carmarthenshire banks. Other Carmarthenshire banks include Carmarthen Furnace Bank, Llandovery Bank, Llanelli Bank, and David Morris and Sons.